Hello everybody, welcome back to another video by DissociaDID. This video is part of a series on why specific alters may present in the way that they do, especially in terms of the form that they take. Another video in this series was about demon alters and why alters might present and look that way, and what the sort of metaphorical reasons behind why the brain may jump to "this will help me." That can also be applied to this. Those reasons can also be applied to vampire alters. However, we have some extra reasons here that are specific for vampires. If you stumbled across this video and you don't know what the hell's going on, why is this person talking about demons and vampires? What the hell is that? This is about dissociative identity disorder. Dissociative identity disorder is not a possession, it's not a made up, let's insert myself into a character role type situation. It is a dissociative disorder that stems from prolonged and repeated childhood trauma and often abuse. We have lots of videos on the channel about how this happens, why it happens, and the developmental stages that are required in order to develop DID. So if all this is new to you, please go and have a look at those videos. It will really help you understand. Okay, so what are some reasons that an alter might appear as a vampire? Some of these reasons may allude to certain types of abuse. Nothing will be described in detail, but words will be used to obviously name the experience of the abuse. If that's going to be difficult or triggering, please be careful, be responsible for your own triggers, and just step away if this is too much. Some individuals who develop DID may have experiences of stalking, kidnapping, home invasion, robbery, anything along those lines, which involves somebody either taking you from your home or forcing their way into your house, or anything where you feel your space is not respected. This could even be things like just bedrooms, people coming into your bedroom when you don't want them to, especially as a child, bathrooms, maybe not having a lock on your door, anything like that where you're unable to protect your space and who has access to you in that space. Now, part of the law around vampires is being unable to enter a home or a domicile without permission. For example, the alter is a persecutor that may reenact experiences of abuse or reenact behaviors of the abuser onto other alters in the system. Being made a vampire may dampen down on the severity of what they are able to do to give the brain some kind of relief. If they are unable to cross into spaces that other people own, other people's homes, whether that be inside the inner world or externally in the outside world, that can feel like a protective mechanism. They literally cannot come in. They cannot come in and abuse me because they can't come in unless I expressly invite them to. Even if this alter isn't a persecutor, it's still, checks out the same way. It's an extra layer of safety. Maybe the person just wished that there were more people in their life and that rule applied to everybody, especially the people in their life. Another thing might be you feel like you're dead, but you're still alive. For example, maybe a child had a near-death experience or an experience of abuse or trauma where they felt like they were going to die or were convinced that they were going to die. And then lo and behold, they didn't. They're still alive, but the trauma from that abuse or that just traumatic experience, whatever it was, could be a car crash, could be, earthquake, natural disaster, war, anything like that, surviving it, but not feeling like you're really alive anymore due to dissociation or disbelief that you were able to get out of that situation alive at all. If your brain is unable to comprehend that, especially as a child who's developed DID, then a creature that a child would be aware of from stories, movies, children's books, all sorts of stuff like that. Vampires are part of what kids know about, don't they? They might not understand what's happened to them. They might not even remember what's happened to them in this experience of trauma or abuse, but they might know, I don't feel like I'm alive anymore, but it seems like I am. Maybe I'm a vampire. Maybe I'm a ghost. I don't feel alive. This is another reason why ghost alters exist, and we do have a video on that made by one of our alters who is also presents as a ghost. Another example is constant hunger or craving. Vampires in stories and legends are described as unbearably starved, always lusting for blood, sustenance, something to make them not hungry anymore. If you are a child who's experiencing severe or extreme neglect, or perhaps you have an eating disorder and you constantly feel very, very hungry, maybe you're being denied access to food by an abuser, or somebody just doesn't have what they need to feed you. Those feelings, those cravings line up well with the idea of vampire. Another thing in stories that may have been told to children, songs even, scary stories around the campfire, movies, all sorts of stuff, Usually vampires are being hunted. Either they're hunting you or people are hunting them. Literal vampire hunters with, stakes and everything like that. It's a big part of the fiction around vampires. So if somebody feels constantly like they're hunted, or they're constantly being watched, or they're being followed, or that somebody wants to kill them just for who they are, or someone's always got their eye on you, they may relate this also. Even feelings of like you're being hunted for sport. In some situations of abuse, games might be played where, they might tell you to run and then give you the idea that it's possible for you to escape the abuse. And then they chase you and they catch you. Somehow feels even worse. The idea of having the ability to be free dangled over you and not being able to achieve it. This can also be applied to alters who are animals, especially prey animals, feeling hunted for sport to be either killed or harmed, abused. Also the feeling of being very, very drained, being sucked dry, literally having the life drained from you, feeling like an empty husk, feeling like you're giving and giving and giving and giving, or having things taken from you constantly until you have nothing left. You are being drained dry from the soul almost. The lore of vampires is that they're often stuck inside because they can't walk in the sun. If you experience agoraphobia or extreme neglect as a child and you were locked in certain rooms or the house or cars or whatever, an experience where you were locked in somewhere, trapped, or felt trapped and were unable to go outside, or you felt hidden or locked away or ashamed of who you are and you felt like you need to hide away, this could also relate too. Whether this be because it's a situation that was taken out of your hands or because you feel safer inside and you stay inside. Another concept is feeling very estranged from society, feeling other, feeling like you don't fit in, feeling not human, feeling separate from everyone else around you, like there's something wrong with you, there's something monstrous about you, there's something not right, something that makes you bad enough to be different, probably because that's what you've been told, or because your experiences of trauma and abuse have made you feel that way, even if it's not true, and it's probably not true. And also, of course, on a very obvious level, vampires are believed to be myths. They're believed to be fiction. I mean, you believe what you want to believe, but generally they're understood to be myths. So if you feel very disbelieved, maybe you tried to speak to someone about your experience of trauma or abuse and they didn't believe you. They don't believe part of who you are, or you have to hide part of who you are. And all these other things add up together, and you can tick them off on, I feel like this, I feel like this, I feel like this, I feel like this, and all of it adds up in a child's brain is, a vampire would experience all of these things. Maybe there's a vampire. And you have to remember when it comes to DID that when the DID developed, it would have developed in a child's brain. DID can only be developed in childhood before the identity has fully integrated in normal childhood development. Once DID has been developed, someone who already has DID and developed it in childhood can continue to create new alters throughout their lifetime. But it's generally understood through the theory of structural dissociation that adults and teenagers can't just suddenly develop DID. It has to happen in childhood, and that's the current running theory. Not to say that this might not be proved wrong in the future or may change in the future, but as of the time of filming this, that is what I know to be correct. The theory of structural dissociation is very, very interesting if you don't know about what that is. We don't have video on it yet, but we do have lots of videos where it's mentioned within the video and explained within the video, but there are some great resources in our description, which I would suggest you look at if you would like to learn about structural dissociation and how that relates to dissociative identity disorder specifically. If you would like some ideas, suggestions, pointers on why you may have a specific alter in your system, or why you are a specific alter in your system that presents as something other than human, then please have a look at our series, and it will cover human types of alters as well. We're trying to cover as many as we can. If you are a member of our Patreon, you will be able to suggest and request specific videos and vote on other people's requests and see what videos are coming before anyone else. You will get sneak peeks of the upcoming videos. You will be able to see bloopers, you will be able to see outtakes, you'll be able to see how our system works together to be able to create videos like this. You will also be able to get merch, you'll be able to get posters, all hand-drawn art, shirts, hoodies, bags, stickers, whatever you want. Patreon is also one of the best ways to support us, so if you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon from $1 or £1 a month or the equivalent in your currency, and just pick whatever tier is right for you. We are also in a court case against a man called Sergio Costa. If you don't know what Sergio Costa did to us and why we're in a court case against him, we have a playlist called What Happened to DissociaDID, which explains everything. We crowdfund through a site called Crowd Justice to be able to afford the legal fees that are necessary for us to be able to get justice. The way Crowd Justice works is that the money bypasses us completely. Crowd Justice is connected to our lawyers, they send the money straight to our lawyers, and it can only be used for the case against Sergio Costa. We don't see a penny of it, we cannot touch it, we cannot use it for anything else, it goes straight to our lawyers. So if you would like to support us in getting justice and winning our case against Sergio Costa, please consider donating to crowdjustice.com/case/DissociaDID. We would not be able to do it without you. Please don't feel pressured to donate if you are unable to or you just don't want to. Another way to help would be sharing the Crowd Justice link, sharing what's happened to us, sharing the videos where we explain what he did and how we've been fighting for justice against him for 4 years. Anything helps, and we appreciate anything that you find in the goodness of your heart to do. And if you don't want to do any of that, that is fine too. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell to support the Dissociative Project, and we hope to see you soon. Stay tuned for the next video. Lots of love, everybody. Bye.